6. He's another intriguing guy. So I really think Colt Brennan and Joe Flacco are going to be the intriguing guys a lot of teams are talking about when the season is over.
Warriors and the Blue Hens, huh, Mort? You're covering
That's
it
right.
all. Thank you. Hey, well, we span 5,000 miles apart. That's why we bring you in here. As you know, Sunday was an emotional day around the National Football League, especially in the nation's capital. Teams, players, fans paid tribute to Sean Taylor. Nowhere more poignantly than in Washington. All around the league, his number 21 was worn on helmets, and players expressed their grief in a pregame moment of silence. Sean Taylor remembered. After their games yesterday, many players flew to Miami to attend this morning's funeral service. Thousands of supporters paid their respects at Sunday's wake and vigil, and similar numbers were at today's service. Most of the Redskins team and family traveled to Miami after their one-point loss to Buffalo. David Amber has more from Florida.
They came from across the country. Friends, teammates, fans, and relatives. 4,000 strong to say their final goodbyes and thank yous.
Thank you for loving my sister the way you did. Thank you for the integrity and humbleness you never failed to show.
I'm gonna miss him with all my heart. I love him. You know, I thought when he came to the Redskins, I was his guardian angel. And in the way events went, as God would have it, he turned out to be one of mine.
I believe he would have been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But I also feel if there was a Hall of Fame for being the best person, the very best person, he'd be in that Hall of Fame too.
Taylor's legacy as a football player is undeniable. Off the field, he'll leave an indelible mark as well. Taylor's family has set up a scholarship fund in his name to help students at 3 different schools here in South Florida. In Miami, David Amber, ESPN.
Thank you very much, David. Of course, all of us send our hearts out to the family, the friends, and the teammates of Sean Taylor. As Taylor is laid to rest, 4 men are in jail charged with unpremeditated murder after a planned burglary went awry. Authorities said they had more than one confession from the suspects, none of whom was more than 20 years old. Still ahead, Tom Brady to Randy Moss. It's been a magical combination this season. Hear what chemistry sounds like on the sidelines in tonight's soundtracks. And while the Patriots take aim at the 72 Dolphins, their offensive line has another target in mind. Which of these guys would make William Tell proud? We'll be back.
GMC Defensive Player of the Week. Brought to you by GMC. Watch SportsCenter after the game for the GMC postgame and the Defensive Player of the Week nominees.
Sunday's best defense, the GMC Defensive Player of the Week nominees. Think A.J. Feely had nightmares last night about the Seahawks' Lofa Tatupu, 3 interceptions and 11 solo tackles for Seattle. Bills defensive end Larry Triplett, big fella, with an interception and a forced fumble that led to scores. And Cardinals corner Roderick Hood with 2 interceptions, including a 71-yard return early in the game for a touchdown vote on SportsCenter after the game. You know, Tom Brady's thrown precious few of those interceptions. We learned anything this season, it's that if you give Tom Brady some time, he'll find a way to beat you. To show you how the Patriots were able to protect their quarterback, we've enlisted the help of our own team. Who better to coach it than Bill?
Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Patriots pass protection. You know, everybody says you got to knock Tom Brady down, you got to rush. Well, they give you a few problems. Now, we've got people deployed in the Patriots offensive positions. Merrill's going to be Ben Watson, the tight end. Obviously, Mark's Kopp in the center. Tom Brady's back in the shotgun. Kevin Falk, Mercury Morris is playing. We've got Welker in the slot. We've got Moss as a split end. Tom and I are both linebackers, and I'm the nickel. All right, now, everybody says, well, you got to knock the quarterback down. But they're capable of blocking 7 rushers here. The 2 tackles can block 2. The guards block 2. Mark can block 1. Merrill can block 1. And Mercury can block 1. 7. The only guy they can't block is this guy back here, because the others are all deployed on the receivers. So this 8th guy back here belongs to the quarterback and the receiver to the side that he comes. All right, now, Let's say we don't want to run a 7-man protection. We want to get Moreeeee out in the pattern. We've got a direct mark that way. That means they can block 3 over there. Mark's got 1, the guard's got 1, the tackle's got 1. All right? Over here, they can only block 3. Guard, tackle got 2. Burke's got 1. Now, if I come off and Tom blitzes, now we got to throw a hot to Keyshawn, who adjusts his pattern right there. He's got to get inside that defender and make that play. Now, the last thing Patriots do quite often, Key, why don't you get over and get on the side and make it 3 by 1? You come in here more. You get outside here. Now they're in an empty backfield set. They're in an empty backfield set. The problem the defense has now is they don't know which way Mark's going to go. If he goes that way, they can block 3 over there. And if there's 1 blitzer here, it belongs to these receivers and the quarterback to adjust it. So if you're a good defensive coach, you'll put somebody up in on him, bring somebody off the corner, and now Chris has to adjust that route and throw the hot. So, Bob, let me ask you now. You're getting ready to throw a hot. You know you have potential hots. Explain to our viewers what Tom Brady might be doing.
The bottom line to all of that is Tom Brady knows that they've got 1 more guy coming than he can block. And he knows where it is, and so he's going to throw that hot to whichever side he can't block. So if it's to the left, he's going to throw to the left. And if they come over to the right, he knows his protections. He knows he's got 5, 6, or 7 guys to block, and they've got 5, 6, or 7 coming. And if they've got 8, he knows where it is, and he knows where to go with the ball.
Back to you, Boom.
Bill, you're throwing it to me now? You are coachable. I think Bill and Bob played a little football in their day. Thank you, guys. That was great. I think we got salary cap problems, though, with that team. That's just my thought. No coach understands what the Patriots offense is doing better than maybe Brian Billick, because remember, Billick was the offensive coordinator of the Vikings in '98. Why do we bring that up? Well, that's the year that they set the NFL record for points under Dennis Green, the head coach, 556 in one season. That mark in jeopardy thanks to these Patriots. Only the Colts have held them under 30 this season. Now with more on tonight's matchup, let's check in with our high-octane crew in the booth, led by Mike Tirico. Michael.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this very windy night, as you've been seeing here in Baltimore. And Tony, Bob Greasy was just in there with Bill Parcells, and we were talking about it all week here. And Grease was part of that 17-0 season, that perfect season. As we sat with the Patriots, give me the perspective that you now have coming into tonight's game about their pursuit of perfection.
Well, I think they are pursuing it with less ardor than people in the media are pursuing it at this point. They don't even want to talk about it all that much. But there's something possibly historic here. How long have they been playing the NFL? 75, 80 years? Yeah, they've got a chance to be the best team ever, okay? And their quarterback, Tom Brady, has a chance to have the best season ever. This is a real big deal. But the pressure mounts with every single week, because now if you beat them, much in the way that the '85 Dolphins beat the '85 Bears, you become affiliated with that victory forever and ever and ever. And the pressure mounts on the Patriots in this regard. 16-0, 18-0 is great, but if you don't win the daily double, if you don't go 19-0, your season will be looked at as an even failure than if you didn't make the playoffs. So it's double-edged.
Yeah, 16-1 wouldn't do it, because that would mean win all 16 and lose that first playoff game. So a lot of stories to be written. Hey, a lot of stories were written this week about your comments regarding Randy Moss and was he taking plays off. And that was a rap against him in Minnesota with the Vikings. Now, I want to take some time here because you have the unique access of seeing the coach's film and seeing every play. So tell me in a little bit more depth what you saw about Randy Moss.
Mike, I saw a red flag. You know, when you look at the body of work of Randy Moss all season long, it has been tremendous. But against the Eagles last week, I thought he mentally checked out on some plays. Now, when I look at the coaching tape that Mike talked about, it's not the TV tape where he throw him the ball and that's all you see. I see the all 22. I see every single player on every single play. So when I look at Randy Moss, I'm looking at him when he's the primary receiver, when he's a complementary receiver, when he's not a receiver at all, might be a bubble screen away, or in the running game. So I see the complete body of work. And I sense a little pattern going on here as well. Early in the season, the first 4 games, Randy Moss was the intended receiver of Tom Brady 34 times. He caught 31 of those passes, so that's 91%. The last 7 games, Tom Brady has looked for Randy Moss 70 times. 40 have been complete. That's gone down to 57%. Okay. The first 7 games, 0 drop balls. The last 4 games, 5 drop balls. So I sense a little bit of a pattern where sometimes Randy checks out. Now, this is a body of work over the entire season, and it was only a handful of plays in the Eagles game.
And the concern would be, from the Patriots standpoint, is that the start of something, and it could affect not just Randy Moss and Belichick and Brady, but the entire offense and the entire passing game going forward.
No question. When you look at Randy Moss, you're going to need him. You're going to need him. There's going to be some plays coming down the road here. They're going to need him to give everything he's got on every single play. They're chasing history, Mike. They're not trying to go 8-8.
Ron Jaworski, enmeshed in controversy. Welcome to my side of the street.
I think Randy will be full attention tonight.
It could be
Just have a
scary
funny feeling.
tonight, yeah.
Don't know why. Boomer, see you at the bottom of the hour for the Ravens and the Patriots.
All right, fellas, thank you very much. There's a Dallas Thomas who excelled. He's a Pro Bowl linebacker with the Baltimore Ravens, now back in Baltimore as a member of the Pats. Thomas now playing on the outside because the Patriots defense suffered a blow. Roosevelt Colvin, foot injury, now out on IR for the year. So a Dallas Thomas who can play anywhere now will start on the outside rather than the inside. Does this set back the Patriots defense, Tom, Colvin on IR?
A little bit. They lost part of their rotation. It's just like a defensive line. You have one less guy in that rotation, but I think they pride themselves in having linebackers who multitask, guys who are used to doing more than one thing. So I don't want to over-minimize it, but it hurts them a little bit less than it would another team. But if you're going to beat this team, it's not because you're going to stop them on offense. It's going to be because you score a lot of points on defense. On offense.
The thing about losing someone like Colvin is that what happens when you lose the second guy? I know Thomas goes in to replace the first one. That weakens the inside a little bit. Now, if you lose that second guy, you are absolutely short on outside linebackers then, because all you have left is Vrabel. So it's not that first injury they can't cover. They have the depth. After that's when you got to start worrying.
And I think it affects them to some degree, but once again, I believe in Coach Bill Belichick. I know that he'll put these guys in a position to be successful. He'll find somebody. He's always found somebody, whether it's bringing them in off the streets.
Well, you know, I like talking about Brown, and often Brown University. But in this case, the Patriots re-signed Chad Brown, who knows the linebacker position, but they signed a guy you drafted in your first year there in 1993, Bill, and that would be Troy Brown, and it's band of renown. Yes, he's a receiver by trade. Remember we played DB? He could be a defensive player as this year goes on, not so much an offensive player. We'll see what happens.
They lose a little youth.
Yeah.
In that move.
But Troy knows what he's doing.
No, not Troy, just with Rosie.
Well, a little bit.
And like Tom said,
he's 30.
Their defense is their offense. If we score 45, you need to score 46.
Absolutely. Well, the Patriots' defense has suffered the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. As for the offense, just the slings and arrows. To explain it, back to Sal. Windy Sal.
Thanks, Boomer. Well, you might need your longbow for this one. Yes, the Patriots offensive linemen have placed a bullseye on many defensive standouts over the years, but their biggest target these days has nothing to do with football. There may not be a Robin Hood or a Cupid among them, but that didn't stop us from tagging along for this heated O-line showdown on the archery range.
Have you been in here? This place is amazing. I've never been. Oh, really? Hey, man, they got a whale the size of, like, a whale. Okay, we have arrived.
I am a marksman. Now, we do have a weight limit here, you know.
We're gonna have a little competition here. One shot each?
One shot each. What's it for?
Sunday's lunch.
I might as well just buy it right now.
Let the games begin. When you look through that hole, you're gonna line it up with that green dot, and then put that green dot right on the target.
Okay. All the way back. All the way. There you go.
Oh.
All the way, and then just unleash it.
Oh, that is awesome. All right, who's up?
Oh, did you get that? Did you get that?
You're that close. You're only an inch away.
Oh.
Concentrate, Coat. Ooh, zippity doodah. That's a pretty good shot.
I can't help myself. I'm just that good.
Keep going. Keep pulling. Keep pulling. It'll get real easy. Keep going all the way back. All the way back. Keep pulling. You're my boy, Blue.
My boy.
Russ. Russie. Oh, Russ. Whoa. Oh. Oh, zipping it.
Light, you're the last one up.
Fired up.
If he loses here, I guarantee he says his sights off.
Pressure's on.
My sight's off. Boy, howdy. Oh, you guys might want to go down and check and see where that one went. This is Logan's and Danny Copens and Mr. Russ Hochstein, and that's mine. I'm sorry. Oh, well, Nick's was up here.
I'm the loser.
Let you the mic.
Up here.
Thanks for lunch, buddy.
No problem.
Thanks for lunch.
I'll tell you what, Matt Light, the left tackle of the New England Patriots, he looks right out of central casting of the Sherwood Forest and Robin Hood, does he not? Guys, we have talked all year long, blue in the face, about the New England Patriots. You two guys played on championship football teams. What are the intangibles that you see with this New England Patriots team,
The thing
Steve?
that people don't, we've talked about it before, that people forget, is this is the era of free agency where there's a lot of turnover in teams, and the Patriots have found a way to not turn people over and also bring in people that have a real aptitude for football. That means that they can take a game plan on Wednesday, completely different game plan with new plays, new formations, defensive formations, and different defenses, and come out Sunday and play a completely different game. Everyone else in the league has to have a form and function of what they did the week before and maybe build off of it. This is a team that can completely scrap its game plan and come up with a whole new game plan by Sunday, and that's a big advantage in the era of free agency, and they're proving it. This is we're in the middle of a lot of mediocrity in the NFL, but this is not one of those teams. This team is going to be a very good team for a long time.
Steve, you know, you talk about the game itself being very cerebral. What that really means is that you have an opportunity to learn the playbook, a basic playbook, and what this team is doing is they're taking their basic playbook and expanding that playbook throughout the whole season. These guys know the basics, they also know the adjustments, and they also know the expansion of that playbook, and they can scrap their playbook at any point in time. And these players understand, these players understand the entire playbook, and they're having a great time playing football, and not only that, but executing the X's and O's of that playbook.
To a man, every guy on the team comes in and says, give us something new challenge, coach. Give me something to learn.
And I'll tell you what, they may have to scrap the playbook tonight. It's getting real windy, real quick out here for this football game.
Though.
Absolutely. The Pats have won 14 straight games, regular season, and 8 straight road games. No team is more secretive than Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. When we come back, a rare look inside the team at the man and his methods.
60 minutes, you understand me? That's 3 in the first quarter. How much celebrating y'all want me to do? Kneel on it, boys. Let's go home.
Plus, we're handing you a field pass to tonight's game. All the last-minute info you need to know heading into Monday Night Football. That's next.
Now, throughout the show, we feature the music of Freak Page, Led Zeppelin, and the Boys. To get more Let Out, go to Monday Night Surround on espn.com or check out NFL.com. There is no question that the Patriots season to date has been a stairway to heaven with a lot of stairs and a lot of fun. Does anyone remember laughter? I had to. There was the fourth quarter comeback in Indy. Randy Moss's pair of acrobatic touchdowns against Miami, part of Tom Brady's 6 TD performance. And then last week, Asante Samuel's pick that sealed the win. The sounds of New England have never been sweeter. Listen for yourself.
60 minutes. Hey, this game is about 60 minutes, baby. 60 minutes. 60 minutes. You understand me?
100% effort, and let's go kick their ass.
Back the pass goes Lossman. Here's the run. He hits hit. He spins out of it and is thrown down. He's going to be hit. Good job, fellas. Good series, fellas. Good series. A lot of football, huh? Get out of gear. I know it's hard, and I know it throws it long and deep. Touchdown.
That safety didn't know what to do. Gave him some eyes. Hey, I went like this. God, they gonna get caught slipping on that. That dude gonna come up running. Is it? It's gonna be 6.
Tears it out downfield. Randy Moss. Touchdown. That's 3 in the first quarter. How much celebrating y'all want me to do?
We are not finished. We are not finished, fellas. We got him on the ropes. Let's keep what we're doing now. All the yards they're making in the running game is coming from the offset back, okay? Don't be afraid to shade Vince into that A gap. We gotta get off the field, fellas. We gotta get off the field.
Ball on the ground. Picked up. Goldman down and in. Touchdown.
Somebody said you was looking for me.
Rosie, that's greatness. That is greatness.
That's how you finish.
That's what I'm talking about.
Kneel on it, boys. Let's go home.
Well, they sound good. They look good. They play great. Steve, we sent it out to you in the wind. Is this the best team you've ever seen? What do you think?
Well, certainly in the free agency era, there's no question about it, Boomer. It's the best football I've seen in over a decade. Best teams I've ever seen, it's tough to say, but the best defense I've ever seen was the 91 Eagles team, if you remember that defense. And then the offense, I don't know, I have to say probably the 89 49er team. There's a lot of great offenses, but this team, post-free agency, I can't believe how well they're playing in the era of free agency. I just didn't think I'd see it again.
Well, it's the best offensive team that I've seen, but I'm going to have to reserve judgment on whether it's the best team until the end of the season. If they've got those wins up there, then I'll have to agree. But until then, it's the 85 Bears, the best team I've seen.
Well, Coach, you can't separate units just because it's the best offense. You can't say, well, it's the best offense and not the best defense. They're a team in their unit. They're the best team I've seen in my era.
Well, we still got a ways to go. The best team that I ever saw was the 70 Steelers that won 4 Super Bowls, and I think that's the key. There could be a 1 attached to the New England record, but it better be this month and not next month in January when they're in the playoffs, because that will eliminate any perfect team, greatest team, all of those things. It has to culminate with a Super Bowl win.
Well, their offense is clicking like very few we've ever seen. Steve mentioned the 89 Niners, who he watched. I mean, he was a backup there with Joe Montana and Rice, et cetera, for just offense. I wonder if defensively you have to throw something at them. You're a type of team that plays a different sort of defense that you only coach against like once a year, like an 85 Bears, like a helter-skelter like the Eagles defense against 91. Now, Coach Ditka, though, said, and he's very honest, 85 Bear defense, he said this offense would have carved us up, which was, I don't know if he said carved us up, but we would have had trouble with the Patriots.
Not enough people to cover. That's why he said that.
Although I would, that would be quite a match. I would just wonder if you have to be something unique. Baltimore's going to try to find that out tonight. I don't know. Let's get back to the big crab cake and one last check on both teams before kickoff. A Teams at 20 report on the Patriots. Here's Wendy Nix, and Wendy, you can talk to me.
All right, Boomer, I can talk to you, and I can tell you we've got some heavy winds tonight in excess of 30 miles an hour. It's not a friend of the passing game, and that is what the Patriots do. 29 first-half plays last week, 28 were passes. Now, Randy Moss has been tremendous. We know that, but he also makes an impact even when he's not Tom Brady's intended target. As Jabbar Gaffney told me on Friday, hey, you want to take away Moss the way the Eagles did? Go ahead. Let me introduce you to Wes Welker. Meet Dante Stallworth. The bottom line, it's hard to know who to cover on this team. 20 different Patriots have scored touchdowns this season. Now for a report on the Ravens, here's Rachel Nichols.
Well, Wendy, the Ravens plan to limit all of those receivers. Starts with safety Ed Reed. And Pats coach Bill Belichick knows it. He's been heaping so much praise on Reed this week that Tom Brady joked that Belichick wants to kidnap Reed. Well, Reed told me he knows Belichick's just buttering him up, trying to get him out of his game tonight. And he said, if he wants to kidnap me, he's going to have to find me first. That's because the Ravens' plan tonight is to play Reed extremely high, limit any big plays from the Pats receivers. Sal, Reed told me that when people watch film of this game later, they're not even going to see him in the frame.
All right, thanks, Rachel. Time to bring the game to you. It's our field pass to the football game. All you need to know before kickoff. And Steve, what makes Tom Brady so effective
Well,
as a
there's all
quarterback?
kinds of things that he owns. There's all kinds of qualities, but the number one is accuracy. People don't understand. Very few quarterbacks are accurate in the NFL. Every ball he throws has a statement attached to it. Every time he throws to Wes Welker, that ball is saying, Wes, go where I'm throwing the ball. Trust me, I'm telling you where to put. I'm putting it right in the right spot every time to help you gain as many yards after the catch as possible. You watch him tonight, even in this win, if you don't think he's the most accurate quarterback of his generation.
Well, one of the best linebackers of his generation, certainly Tom, Ray Lewis in the middle. He may have been, a young man once. He may not be that anymore, but he certainly brings the same fire.
Well, Boom, you listen to this resume, 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP, and leading this team in tackles as we speak in 07. So maybe slowed down a little bit by injury and age, but still a guy who makes a difference, and he's got to make a difference tonight if they're going to have a chance against the New England Patriots.
And when you look at Randy Moss, he had 16 touchdown catches this year, the same total as his entire Raider team scored last year. Maud had just 3 of those. Emmett, what's been the change with Randy Moss in your opinion?
You know, Randy Moss is a happier football player now that he's with obviously the New England Patriots and he's on a winning team. But Randy Moss loved the spotlight on Monday night. This guy has the highest receiving yards per game on Monday Night Football history. He's also had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns versus the Bengals on Monday night. So this guy looks to shine on every Monday night spotlight. And this night, look for him to score some touchdowns.
Now, Coach Bill Belichick won 3 Super Bowls, steamrolling towards what could be a 4th and key. You've been on teams with Coach Belichick.
You know, Bill Belichick is a master in history of the National Football League. He would like to do nothing more to be mentioned right up there with the likes of a Chuck Noll. And boom, he inspires his team in a different way. You know, he talks to them much different than some of the other coaches around the league. He would like for them to learn in victory and not in defeat.
Done a pretty good job of that. One of the guys that is one of his best players, and that's Mike Vrabel. He's played in, he's played out, he catches touchdowns. Bill, you love him, don't you?
Yes, I really do. I think he's really the heartbeat of the Patriot defense. As you said, Chris, he's an outside linebacker. A few years ago, he had to go inside and play. He helps out on the offensive end of the ball, down near the goal line. And I'm telling you, this guy, the thing I like, I can't remember a game when he hasn't been out there. So he's durable as well, and that's one of the reasons why he's such a good player for the Patriots.
And a character as well. Well, Ed Reed is as good as it gets at safety, and you heard the mention that Bill Belichick wants to kidnap him. Why would he want to do that, Key?
Well, I think Bill Belichick is looking toward the future, but unfortunately for him, Ed Reed is all locked up with the Baltimore Ravens. If you look at some of the numbers that he's put together over the last couple of years, a league MVP on defense, his team is struggling now, but he is one of the heart and souls of that defense.
Coming up here on Monday Night Countdown, kickoff a couple minutes away to a couple of the 72 Dolphins. Bob and Mercury think that this is the night that their record will be safe. Pats Ravens Monday Night Football.
Hey, mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you
Monday Night Countdown, delivered by UPS. What can Brown do for you? And in part by GMC. Watch SportsCenter after the game for the GMC postgame and the Defensive Player of the Week nominees. And Alltel Wireless. Take the head-to-head challenge at alltelcircle.com.
MNC Bank Stadium, downtown Baltimore. Tonight, the undefeated Patriots can take another step towards football immortality, but it won't be easy. The crowds here in Baltimore are always fired up for Monday Night Football. All of us had the Steelers last night, well, all of us except me. So no movement in the standings. Tom with a 2-game lead over Boomer, Emmett, Stu, and Keyshawn. The Weasel bounces back with a win. He's 8-3. Vinny the Badger We used to have a Vinny the Badger in my neighborhood, but
I have no idea.
I don't know what that
Who
is all
falls back
about.
in Bristol? They need to get out in the cold a little bit.
Hey, man, who do you have tonight?
Tonight I'm going with the Patriots. Obviously, I think they have too much firepower for the Baltimore Ravens, and it's just going to be tough for the Ravens to keep up.
You're going to see a microcosm in the last 5 years for the Baltimore Ravens. A yeoman's effort by the defense of the Ravens. All-timer tonight. You're going to see the offense come up short, not score enough points, despite the efforts of a great defense of the Ravens. The Patriots go away with a win here.
Stuart, we miss you, but your tradition will continue. By the power vested in me by you, I will deliver your pick as, drum roll please, obviously, the Patriots. TJ, you're up.
Well, Sal, it's hard to imagine that the Ravens will be able to score enough points. I think the defense is going to play their heart out, but I'm going to pick the Patriots because they're going to put the points on the board.
Well, the Weasel stayed home tonight because he's afraid of snow and black ice, so I had to call Vinny the Badger back in, and Vinny the Badger from Pittsburgh loves the Patriots.
Do I need to be serious here, Tom?
Yes.
Come on.
Yes, go on.
Come on now. Go.
Well, make it official.
Pats.
All right, I want to mention.
Official enough.
That's official. I want to mention 3 names in the middle of the action for the Patriots that you don't think of. Center Dan Copen, nose tackle Vince Wilfork, and assistant head coach Dante Scarnecchia. I know you like that one. They're as key to it all as anybody on the team. Patriots 34-10. But now, Bob Greasy, Mercury Morris. Is this the night? Can this be the night?
Well, of course,
that
my heart is with Baltimore, but my head tells me go with the Michigan.
Well, I don't know. I have to ponder this. I think that I'm going to make the Patriots underdogs in the Super Bowl. I'll just bypass it all and go straight to the Super Bowl.
Well, does that ring close to you?
It sounds kind of like what we were, dogs in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well,
why not pick them?
What do you say? All right, okay, I got it. Mercury Morris, Bob Greasy, you've been wonderful to come on up here and share with us. And if you watch, hey, look, Baltimore has a chance to play Miami in a couple weeks at the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So you're kind of rooting.
Maybe
they're a key to where you guys are headed.
Maybe they
ways.
can help us tonight
Right?
and help us again in 2 weeks.
There you
That'd be
go.
good.
There you go. Well, we'll watch the Patriots and see if they make it to 12-0. For Mercury Morris and for Bob Greasy, thank you. For Keyshawn Johnson, Coach Parcells, Tom Jackson, all of our guys out in Baltimore with the hair whipping around in the wind, Mort and everybody here in the studio, I'm Chris Berman. Enjoy Monday Night Football.
Okay.
Every game a chance to inch closer to history, to shatter the record books. Legacy, we'll see. The Patriots' quest for perfection continues next on Monday Night Football.
I have that type of ability, to be the greatest ever.
Welcome to the Michael Vick Experience.
With the first selection in the 2001 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Michael Vick.
The most exciting player in football.
People want to see me. People love me.
Federal agents investigating possible dogfighting.
That situation's gonna work itself out. People gonna start looking at me like, yo, that's just stupidity.
Illegal dogfighting at the heart of the indictment.
An indictment is not a conviction.
This is not the young man that I've gotten to know in the last 6 years, so I am disappointed.
He has agreed to a plea agreement and he will admit his guilt.
Vick participated in the execution of dogs.
The National Football League is very disappointed.
The maximum sentence.
Up to 5 years in prison.
First, I want to apologize for all the things that I've done. I was ashamed, disappointed in myself. I will redeem myself. I have to.
Monday Night Countdown is delivered by UPS.
Welcome to Monday Night Countdown, everybody. 90 minutes to get you ready for the Saints and the Falcons from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Hi, good evening. I'm Chris Berman, along with Keyshawn Johnson, Coach Bill Parcells, Tom Jackson. Mort will be by shortly. A cast of thousands, as usual, to come from the game. Now, today The Atlanta Falcons fans learned the fate of their one-time franchise quarterback. In April, we first learned about Michael Vick's involvement in dogfighting. Today, we know the price he'll pay. Earlier this morning, U.S. District Judge Henry E. Hudson sentenced Vick to 23 months in prison and 3 years probation for his role in what the judge termed a, quote, cruel and inhumane dogfighting ring that included gambling and killing dogs. The judge also cited Vick's lying about it and told him, quote, you need to apologize to the millions of young people that looked up to you. Vick has been in prison since November the 19th, and if he serves the full term, would be released in October 2009. Now with more from the federal courthouse in Richmond, Virginia, here's Kelly Naki. Kelly?
Former Falcons quarterback Michael Vick walked into the courtroom 10 minutes before his sentencing hearing began on Monday, chewing gum and wearing a black and white striped prison jumpsuit. Vick's mother, Brenda Bodie, was comforted throughout the 45-minute hearing by Vick's brother, former Virginia Tech quarterback Marcus Vick. Before sentencing Vick to 23 months in prison, Judge Henry Hudson said that Vick made, quote, a calculated effort to hide the truth. And Vick's attorney, Billy Martin, told the court that Vick needed drug counseling and that he was clinically depressed. In Richmond, Virginia, I'm Kelly Naki, and now for more, here's Roger Kosek and George Smith.
Publicly, Michael Vick's legal team knew there'd be severe consequences for his actions. Privately, they were very disappointed by the length of the sentence. Let's bring in ESPN's legal analyst, Roger Kosek. I know you had a chance